The power of positive thinking. Level B. 1. Intermediate. People often use the phrase positive thinking, but many misunderstand what it truly means. It is not about pretending that everything is perfect, smiling when you feel sad, or ignoring your problems. Real positive thinking is much deeper. It is a mindset, a way of reacting to life that helps you stay calm and confident even when something goes wrong. It does not remove difficulties, but it gives you strength to face them and continue moving forward. Positive thinking begins with the way you speak to yourself. Everyone has an inner voice, that silent commentary inside the mind that reacts to everyday events. Sometimes this voice is polite and encouraging. Other times, it becomes critical, impatient, or harsh. The purpose of positive thinking is not to erase this voice, but to guide it. Instead of letting it repeat, "I am not good enough," or "this will never work," you slowly teach it to say, "I am trying, I am learning, and I can handle this." Many people believe that positive thinking means ignoring problems. In fact, it means the opposite. A positive thinker sees the situation clearly, including the difficulty, but chooses to focus on what can be improved instead of what cannot be changed. If something goes wrong, a plan fails, a person disappoints them, or a day becomes stressful, they do not deny their feelings. They simply understand that the moment will pass, and tomorrow offers new chances. One of the biggest reasons positive thinking matters is that thoughts shape emotions. If you constantly repeat negative sentences, you start to believe them, and your body reacts with stress. When you choose more hopeful, balanced thoughts, your nervous system relaxes. You think more clearly and feel more stable. Studies show that people who practice positivity often sleep better, solve problems faster, and recover from difficulties more easily. Optimism does not remove pain, but it changes how your mind responds to it. In everyday situations, positive thinking shows itself in small ways. Imagine you are waiting for a bus, and it arrives late. A negative mindset might say, "This always happens to me. Everything is ruined now." A positive mindset does not deny the frustration, but responds differently. "This is inconvenient, but I can use this time to listen to music or rest." The event is the same, but the emotional result is different because the interpretation changes. The same principle applies to larger experiences. At work, positive thinkers often stay calm when a task is difficult. They remind themselves that learning something new takes time and that mistakes are part of progress. At school, a student with positive thinking does not panic after one bad grade. Instead, they think, "Next time, I will prepare better." This is not the end. Over time, this attitude builds emotional strength and resilience. Gratitude is another important part of positive thinking. It trains the brain to see what is present, not only what is missing. You can feel gratitude for simple things: a quiet morning, a meal you enjoy, a friendly message, or fresh air. Some people write 3 things every evening that made them feel thankful that day. This habit slowly changes the way the brain filters information. Instead of focusing on stress, it begins to notice comfort, safety, and kindness. Your environment influences your thinking as well. People who constantly complain, criticize, or expect the worst can affect your emotional balance. If you spend too much time around negativity, your mindset may slowly shift in the same direction. On the other hand, people who encourage you, celebrate your progress, and believe in your ability to grow can lift your spirit. Positive thinking becomes easier when you are surrounded by hopeful attitudes and supportive conversations. Mistakes often create fear, but positive thinking sees them differently. Instead of treating a mistake as proof of failure, it treats it as information. If something does not work, the experience teaches you what needs to change. The lesson might be unpleasant, but it is useful. Positive thinking does not mean loving mistakes. It means understanding that they help you improve. Each error becomes a step, not a wall. Many people struggle with too much self-criticism. They speak to themselves in ways they would never use with a friend. Positive thinking encourages self-compassion, an attitude of patience and softness. If you feel tired, you allow rest without guilt. If you feel sad, you accept the feeling without calling yourself weak. If you make a mistake, you do not punish yourself mentally. You simply restart, adjust, and continue. Sometimes people think positive thinking means removing fear. That is not true. Fear is a normal reaction when you try something new. Positive thinking simply prevents fear from controlling your decisions. It helps you say, "I am nervous, but I can try," instead of, "I am nervous, so I will not try at all." Hope becomes stronger than worry, and curiosity becomes stronger than doubt. The brain reacts to thoughts, like a muscle reacts to exercise. When you train it regularly with calm, hopeful ideas, its pathways change. This biological process explains why positive thinking improves sleep, reduces anxiety, and strengthens the immune response. It is not magic. It is a natural reaction of the nervous system to emotional balance. Routine also plays a role in building positivity. Some people start their day by asking themselves one encouraging question: what is something good I can do today? Others finish the day by remembering what went well. Even a 5-minute break to breathe quietly or stretch can clear the mind and reduce tension. These habits do not need to be dramatic. Consistency is more important than intensity. A common obstacle to positive thinking is all or nothing thinking, the belief that if something is not perfect, it is useless. People with this mindset see every mistake as a disaster and every disagreement as rejection. Positive thinking helps them find a middle ground. A difficult day can still contain pleasant moments. A small success still counts. Life becomes more realistic and less heavy. Positive relationships support a positive mindset. When you speak with people who understand you, listen openly, and respect your challenges, your inner voice relaxes. It becomes less fearful and more trusting. When you communicate with people who push you gently and believe in your goals, your motivation grows. Positive thinking also requires patience. Change does not happen in a week. The mind needs time to adopt a new tone and to release old fears. Some days will be easy, others will feel heavy, and both are normal. Even one small positive thought on a difficult day is progress. Positive thinking becomes especially important during difficult times. When you face disappointment, illness, conflict, or loss, it is easy to believe that things will never improve. In such moments, positive thinking is not about forcing yourself to smile. It is about reminding yourself that pain is temporary and that you have survived hard moments before. You do not deny sadness, but you do not allow it to define your entire future. This quiet inner strength helps you stay balanced, even when life seems uncertain. In stressful situations, your inner voice plays a central role. If it says, "I cannot handle this," your body reacts with tension and fear. If it says, "This is difficult, but I will get through it," your body becomes calmer. The words inside your mind have power over your heart rate, breathing, sleep, and energy. That is why learning to guide your thoughts is not just emotional work, it is physical and mental health work. Positive thinking also changes how you act. When you believe that something is possible, you try. When you try, you learn. When you learn, you grow. This cycle builds confidence slowly but repeatedly. If you believe success is impossible, you may avoid challenges completely, and growth stops before it begins. However, if your mindset becomes, "I can try," and "I can improve," then each attempt becomes a step forward, even if small. Habits can help maintain this perspective. Some people start their morning with a short reminder. Today, I will do my best. It is a simple sentence, but it sets the tone for the day. Others create evening reflections, thinking about moments that felt good, even if they were small. A friendly message, a warm meal, a short laugh. These practices teach the brain to look for stability, comfort, connection, and progress. Travel, work, family life, school all benefit from a balanced mind. At work, a positive thinker can handle deadlines without panicking. They communicate more clearly and listen calmly. Because they do not expect perfection, they adjust easily when something changes. At school, positive thinking helps learners stay curious, ask questions without shame, and remember that every subject improves with practice. It allows students to view mistakes not as proof of inability, but as part of the learning path. Sometimes, negativity grows because people compare themselves to others. They look at what someone else has achieved and immediately feel behind. Positive thinking teaches you to measure yourself against your own progress, not against others. You can ask, "Am I better than yesterday?" Not, "Am I better than someone else?" This change reduces pressure and creates healthier motivation. Emotional environment continues to shape mindset. If you spend time with those who speak calmly, forgive mistakes, and look for solutions instead of problems, your own thinking begins to follow that rhythm. Supportive friends make challenges easier and joy brighter. If you surround yourself with constant criticism and drama, even neutral events can begin to feel heavy. Choosing who you listen to is part of positive thinking. Another helpful skill is accepting that life has ups and downs. No person stays happy all the time. It is natural to feel tired, disappointed, or angry briefly. Positive thinking does not remove these feelings. It just prevents them from controlling your identity. You learn to say, "I feel bad today," instead of, "I am a failure." This difference is small in words, but huge in emotional effect. Some people are afraid that optimism will make them naive. But true positive thinking does not ignore danger or problems. It simply reacts with clarity rather than panic. For example, if a plan fails, a positive thinker does not blame fate or other people. They look at what can be changed next time and move forward. This mindset reduces stress, improves decisions, and creates maturity. Science supports these ideas. Research shows that optimistic thinking strengthens the immune system, lowers stress hormones, improves sleep, and increases the ability to solve problems. The brain becomes more flexible and ready to learn. When you train positive thinking daily, new neural pathways form just like muscles develop with exercise. It may take time, but the results are real. Goal setting is another part of positive thinking. Simple, realistic goals help keep motivation alive. You do not need large transformations. You can choose something small, read a few pages, practice a language for 10 minutes, go for a short walk. When you complete small goals, confidence grows and energy returns. Progress becomes visible and rewarding. Over time, Positive thinking shapes the life around you. You become calmer when unexpected things happen. You speak to others more gently. You forgive more easily. You laugh more often. You begin to notice the details that make life meaningful. A comfortable evening, a slow breakfast, friendly voices, music, a peaceful moment of rest. You begin to understand that happiness is not a destination but a daily practice. Positive thinking is not about ignoring sadness. It is about giving yourself a chance to feel hope alongside sadness. It is the belief that even during dark days, light still exists, even if small. You can learn to balance negative thoughts with realistic, supportive ones. You can learn to guide your inner voice away from fear and toward calmness and trust. In the end, positive thinking is a choice, not a one-time choice, but a daily one. Some days it feels easy, like breathing. Other days it feels slow, like carrying something heavy. Both days count. Both days teach you something. Even one gentle thought can change how you feel, how you act, and how you treat yourself. You do not need perfection. You do not need constant joy. You only need willingness to think in ways that support your growth instead of limiting it. A hopeful mindset is not about ignoring pain. It is about remembering that pain can heal and that you are strong enough to continue. Positive thinking becomes a quiet companion walking beside you. It helps you rise after a fall, calm your breathing, soften your words, and rest without guilt. It is not loud or dramatic. It is steady, patient, and kind. Over time, this inner balance becomes one of the most valuable tools you carry through life. If even one thought today makes you feel lighter, safer, or more confident, then your journey has already begun.